Since when did that? When was that connection made? Rights or power?
I'm sorry. I should have said force. I misspoke. Force.
Force.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by this?
I had to turn jazz down. It was getting wild.
Yeah. What do you mean by force?
I mean, in order to have rights, someone has to put force on you in order to hold up to the duties of that right.
So, can you give me an example? Because nothing's clicking.
Okay, so if a brother and sister are engaging in inappropriate activities, do you think someone should get involved in that?
Where's the rights coming from?
Well, one might argue that what people do in the privacy of their home is their own right.
That has to do with consenting adults. Children can't consent.
Okay, well, no, they're both adults and they're consenting. Is there any issue?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would intervene in that?
I can't do that. Legally, I can't.
Sure you could.
I can have my opinion on it, but legally, I can't.
Sure you could.
No, I can't.
You could get the cops involved for sure, yeah.
You can't do that. Also, we're talking about social rights, right? And the concept of like incestual concept, which is a power dynamic that's very dangerous and can lead to unnecessary harm. That's not a good example.
No, that's a great example of why rights boil down to force. Because if you think someone should get involved in that, you're already revoking their free. It's their. Here's the argument from the other side. Jeffrey, what if they're consenting?
Jeffrey.
Can I finish the argument or no?
Jeffrey, listen. Absolutely not, because your argument, I can smell it from Alabama. So. Look, the problem that you have, I think, is you don't understand what human rights are. I think that's your biggest thing, because you keep describing something that's not human rights. Okay, so what I did was I went ahead and I used this grown folks computer that I got, this big kid one. It's got a whole keyboard, and I'm going to read for you the definition that we're kind of referencing. And you can kind of tweak it a little bit for your own imagination, but this is going to be the basic form of what we're discussing. Human rights are inherent to all human beings and are not granted by any state. They are universal and they apply to everyone, regardless of nationality, sex, religion, or other status. These rights include the right to life, liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of expression, education, and more. Okay, so therefore, when you're trying to say that a right is oppression by the state, and we're saying that rights are free from any state, any collection of things, but the state is in place collectively to protect your rights. We as a people came together and said this group of people is oppressing this group of people, which may include me. And so we want to form a governing body to make sure that we aren't taking rights away from individual people. Now, over time, we've gotten better at that, because when we first started setting these governments up, we othered a lot of people. They weren't inclusive in this environment, right? So the intersectionality of that is we are now including women in 1919 in the United States. We're including BIPOC and people of color in 1964 and 65, right? We're including these people, right? We're collecting more and more people, and we're fighting for more and more human rights because we're not there yet. That term is still oppressive from the state to people. Do you got that? Do you understand that concept?
Yeah, so it's the state invoking force upon you.
No.
One ear and out the other, man. Also, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I would say that
it's literally the entailment of the argument.
It's your name, Phil. I would say that it's once again.
No.
Just because I don't want to yell in the phone. What Alabama just said is the concept. basically the concept of a ban, because that's the ideology. But I'm gonna let, because 90 is I'm living for you, 90. So I'm gonna ask Alabama now because of something you said before, Jeffrey. I don't know if I want to address him directly yet. So Alabama, because Geoffrey brought that egregious example, which says a lot. If you
Not egregious.
do racist, did I not say that don't interrupt me when I speak? I'm speaking to the host. Alabama,
I'm sorry, clutch your pearls harder.
if you do racism, let's say you say the hard you are at home alone, are you still doing racism?
Still performing racism.
Right.
If I say the B word and no woman is around, it's still misogynistic.
So you're still then being racist or misogynist, even if it's in your home and no one else is there to see it. I just wanted to see if.
Hey, panel. I'm just gonna say this is not the conversation I want to get into. Host, thanks for letting me up. I appreciate it. Panel, have a great night. This is not my conversation. Thank you, guys.
All right, I appreciate that. That's the first time anybody said that. That's all you have to do when you don't have the depth and the range, whether he agreed or not agree. I don't know, or whether they did, because I don't know that. You know what I mean? You can just be like, I ain't got it. That's the first time I've ever seen that somebody come on TikTok and be like, this ain't my conversation. I can't handle it. Ever. That's respectful.
Listen, I don't know. It's so okay to say. So, Geoffrey, did you? Not Geoffrey. Now it hit me. God, I thought of Game of Thrones. Did you hear what Alabama just answered me and what I asked? Right. So why would you even bring up the example you brought up before?
Yeah, so he was asking me why rights reduced to force. In this hypothetical, we're asking if this is morally okay. If you're saying no, someone should get involved, then you're already invoking force upon the couple. Otherwise, the argument from the other side is they're two consenting adults. How are they harming one another?
Because they're siblings and they grew up together and they have an unhealthy power dynamic that can cause trauma and all that other stuff, which will literally be irrelevant to the conversation.
It's not irrelevant.
Also, I don't care about you being a blue bracelet. Should you not want to do better? Should you not want to be better? Just asking.
Yeah. I'm just confused why you keep going back to two consenting adults inside the home.
Well, that'd be the argument from the other
society
end.
as a whole.
Yeah, no, that'd be the argument from the other
You're
end.
just not answering. Yeah, no, you're not answering what fails. So quit using that example, please.
That's going to be an example if you want rights to be explained to you. I mean, I have other ones, but you're not going to like them.
So, no, you can use those then. How about that?
Okay, let's say a guy's masturbating on his roof.
On what?
On his roof.
On his roof.
Yeah, in front of a school. Should that be stopped?
That's illegal.
Wait, no. I'm gonna stop this.
I told you guys.
Why do you keep talking about things that
No, that's so funny. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
Because he wants exactly that.
I knew that was going to trigger
So
everybody.
gross.
No. So first of all, I don't know why, as a society, we may trigger into something like you're using it a weapon now. Yeah, of course, but you're saying egregious things that are illegal in most states, clearly not yours, and should be offenses, felonies. That is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about systems of oppression. Like, why are you going there? Give examples about the systems of oppression.
So I keep explaining this. If rights reduce to force, which they do, then you're telling those people, hey, you can't do that on their property. That's invoking force on them.
Okay, no, Jeffrey, when you made that last point, I see where you're trying to do. So you think that someone should have the freedom?
No.
So you think that someone should have the freedom?
No.
Thank God. Also, by the way, I didn't want to say it, but Jeffrey has also talked about racial issues before, and he is a racist. But I didn't want to go into that conversation, go into that big huge hole because he knows that eat it up. But yeah, no, he's
Came up here. He is a raging racist.
he's super duper racist. But I didn't want to go deep into that. I just wanted him to fall into a hole, which he did. He tried to justify it incest with a brother and sister that grew up together who are now adults. He also justified, endangering the public as well as children. But again, every single person who believes in that, it tends to be, on the treading line of a creep or worst case, a PDF file. So I'm not surprised.
He is not. That man is not. That person is not racist because most people are, but he is. Many people are. Let me say it like that. But he is a whole whitey supremacist. That's what he is.
Oh,
And
100%.
this is the time that FBI, if you're in here, let's do a hard drive check because goddamn.
Right, because he's talked about how women are supposed to do this, and this, and stuff like that. And he was being very, very, very shy with his views because he knows that it's not his own panel. And I've talked to him before, and he's just a whole traditionalist. Period. Right? It's for him, but not for the type B. It's yeah. The way that he was acting here was very tame. Very tame.
That's okay.
That I didn't tell police you. It's just he wanted exactly that
That's exactly.
and had no depth. At least have depth, Michael. Y'all need to learn how to press better. Everybody is not so creative. Goddamn.
Right. And people use words that they don't know what they mean, and that's why I asked him about very cookie cutter A to B questions, and then he's like, "Well, it's not that simple." It's like it actually is. That if you're talking about the concepts of social issues, and yeah, those are complicated. But if you're talking about hey, do you think these group of people should have the same exact rights and opportunities as these group of people, which labels all the details under what the word means, then congratulations. Then don't use that point to be this thing is bad if you agree with that point.
So
But-
look, I invited
Straw man.
Garcia up here,
Total straw
and I'm just
man.
going to go over a couple of comments that could I ask you your age and your pronouns and what your race is,
Oh,
Garcia?
that was fun.